It is already week 5 of the NFL season. The Patriots coming off a loss to the Cowboys in Dallas this past weekend, and now they'll have the Saints come into town, a 2-2 team that should be a challenge for them considering the way that the Cowboys game went. But Zach, would be remiss without talking about the biggest news of the day. Of course, the Patriots reportedly are now going to be without Christian Gonzalez or Matthew Judon for potentially the rest of the season after their injuries. What's the latest update there from your end?
Huge losses for the Patriots. It does sound like, according to reports, Christian Gonzalez most likely will be out for the rest of the season. It seems like Matthew Judon is still kind of holding out hope that he might be able to get back for the final couple of weeks, but that's a long-term kind of consideration. At the very least, the Patriots will be without both of those players for the foreseeable future, and that's a huge loss. You could say those were probably arguably their two best defensive players, certainly their two most important defensive players, given the other injuries the Patriots have dealt with at cornerback. It's going to be a huge loss, and it's going to be really something that they're going to have to, I think, piece together a lot of different parts to overcome.
And we got word Wednesday morning that the Patriots reportedly traded for former Patriots cornerback J.C. Jackson, who's now with the Chargers. What do you think that he will bring to the secondary if he comes in and he's ready to play and healthy?
Hopefully more than he brought during his brief stint with the Chargers. That was a really unsuccessful signing for L.A. Jackson only ended up playing in 7 games after signing that $82 million contract last year. It was a healthy scratch for the last couple of games, so really didn't work out for him in L.A. But for his 4 years with the Patriots, he was one of the premier ball hawks in the NFL. Really skilled man coverage, really good with ball skills. He had more interceptions than anybody else in the league during his 4 years in New England. If he can get back anywhere close to that, I think he'll be a big boost for this Patriots defense. And when you're looking at this cornerback group, if you can say in maybe 2 weeks or so, you'll be able to have J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, and potentially even Jack Jones back, plus Miles Bryant and some other pieces, then you're you're in pretty good shape. Obviously, Gonzalez is still going to be a significant loss. He was a guy who was tracking toward potentially being Defensive Rookie of the Year. And again, J.C. Jackson hasn't looked like the same player in the last couple of years. But I think it makes a lot of sense. The Patriots didn't really have to give up anything to get Jackson. It was just a swap of late-round picks in 2025. And the Chargers are basically paying almost all of his salary as well. So a pretty low-risk move for the Patriots. But again, we'll see what kind of Jackson we get.
Yeah, once you heard about the Patriots not having to cover Jackson's entire salary for the year and the way that they worked out the deal with the Chargers, it does make a lot more sense. But on the other end of the spectrum here, some Patriots players are eligible to return to practice this week, come off injured reserve. What did you see at practice in that sense?
Yeah, there were 5 players between injured reserve and the PUP list that were eligible to come back today. We saw 3 of them back on the field. Riley Reif, offensive tackle / guard, he was back. Trey Flowers, defensive end, who the Patriots fans surely remember from his first stint with the team, and core special teamer Cody Davis. All of them were back on the practice field today. No guarantee that they'll be back in the lineup this weekend. The Patriots still have 3 weeks to add them back to the roster. But the 2 most notable names on that list were Jack Jones, who I just mentioned, and Tyquan Thornton, the Patriots wide receiver. Neither of them back at practice today. Clearly not yet ready to get back on the field after their injuries. Jones wasn't a huge surprise. There had been some rumblings that he might be looking at more of a mid-season return. But Tyquan Thornton did seem to be tracking toward potentially returning this week. Now, maybe he still does. He could still come back at practice tomorrow and theoretically play on Sunday. But this does seem to be another setback in the career of a wide receiver who has just really not been able to generate any sort of momentum over his 2 years here in Foxborough.
Yeah, and he'll certainly be a big boost to the offense if he is healthy and able to come back relatively soon this season. Once again, Meredith Gorman here with our Patriots beat reporter Zach Cox. Make sure to follow along with Nesson for all of your Patriots updates as the Patriots enter week 5 ahead of their matchup against the Saints.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.